Geordies, welcome back to another episode, and we're going to put all the transfer talk to a side. Do you know why? Because we've still got games of football to win. We've still got a Champions League to qualify for, and Monday night we travelled to Leicester under the lights to take on second bottom of the Premier League, Leicester City. And do you know what? I often feel like these are the types of games that make you miss out on Champions League when you lose, because you can make up throughout the season, you make up defeats in your own head where you think we might get beat at Liverpool, we might get beat at Arsenal, might get beat at Old Trafford. Well, not Old Trafford because they've got a good result there now. But you know what I'm talking about. These smaller teams are where you can't drop points. So this is a must-win game for Newcastle United. We're on a good run, 3 wins in a row. We'll put a trophy to our name. So the morale's high. So we're going to preview Leicester taking on Newcastle United. So if you are new around here, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. And we're going to talk about Leicester City, talk about Newcastle United, and then predict the starting 11, because I think for one position only, Eddie Howe's got a headache. So we're going to be discussing all that. And then there's one player I want to talk about, and it's probably not a player you're thinking about in your mind, but we're going to start with Leicester City because, look, they're sitting 19th in the Premier League. They've won 4 games all season. They've had 8 consecutive losses in all competitions. They've won 1 out of the last 11 games in all competitions. They've scored 1 goal in the last 10 Premier League games without scoring in their last 7 consecutive Premier League games. They've conceded the second most goals, which is 67, and they've scored the second least amount of goals in the Premier League, which is 25. So we should be going to Leicester thinking, we're going to get 3 points here. We're going to impose our game on Leicester City. We're going to go there confidently and get 3 points. I know you're probably looking at the final 9 games and you're thinking, it's Leicester City, this game might not be important. But like I mentioned earlier, these are the types of games that you can't afford any complacency. You can't afford to drop points in these, because if you drop points in these, it's crucial that we beat our bigger teams, our bigger games. But if you pick up points here and there against these teams at the bottom of the Premier League, you can afford a hiccup against one of the teams that are in and around you. Does that make sense? So it's vital that we win this game, and we can't get complacent. So a little bit about Leicester City. Well, they're set up in a 4-2-3-1 formation, but in possession, they revert to a 3-2-2-3 formation, which focuses on creating numerical superiority and controlled progression. Now, the way Leicester City want to build up, they often put 2 midfielders in behind your midfield, just in front of your defence or between the lines, to focus on overloads in the central areas and the link-up play that way. The 2 wingers will stretch the pitch, making room for the central midfielders to receive the ball on the half turn, and that's where the majority of their playmaking comes from. So we're going to have to be switched on to that. But I kind of feel like with our midfield 3, we're too strong to let that happen. Got Tonali that just covers an enormous amount of ground. Got Joe Linton, who's a physical monster. So we'll be able to battle with them in midfield. But it's definitely something that we just need to keep an eye on, because their build-up is all about numerical advantages in the middle. And by creating those numerical advantages in the middle, it allows them to isolate their wingers in one-on-one situations. And that's what Van Nistelrooy wants to do. Defensively, he wants everyone central to create a good rest defense structure. So pretty much that's another word for a low block. I mean, Leicester have been better on the eye since Van Nistelrooy's taken over. Like on the ball, they move the ball a lot better, but it's style without any substance, because their record since Van Nistelrooy's took over is absolutely abysmal. But that's enough about Leicester City, because this game is about us. We're the better team. We're the bigger team. We should be going there to win with confidence. Anything can happen in a Premier League game. And we've seen it so many times when the team's struggling at the bottom of the Premier League. It's a Monday night under the lights. The pull out a victory out of nowhere. We can't get complacent. We can't let that happen. But I don't think we need to change much or adapt our style to win this game. Leicester should be more worried about us than we're worried about them. I think our starting 11 picks itself. I just generally believe we're the better team. We've got better physicality. We're better with the ball. We're better without the ball. And I think that's going to be key tomorrow night. We need to be better with the ball, because I think Leicester's going to allow us to have possession and try and counteract us, because we're good without the ball. We're very solid and can control games without the ball. We've shown that in the cup final against Liverpool, where they had more possession, but we were by far the more superior team. So we're actually comfortable without the ball, but I kind of feel like Leicester will let us have the ball, sit in a low block, say, come and break us down, then try and counteract us. We just need to be wary of that. But again, I think the team picks itself. Eddie Howe strikes me, the coach, that he wants continuity. He doesn't like changing the starting 11 too much. And we've played the same starting 11 for the past 3 games. I fully expect us to play with the same starting 11, but he does have one headache. Will it be Anthony Gordon coming back in for Harvey Barnes? Or will Harvey Barnes keep his place? Now, in his press conference, this is what he said about Harvey Barnes. Harvey has been champing at the bit to play. He's been desperate to showcase what he can do. He brings unique things to the group. He has a goal threat, which I agree with. I can trust him a lot. I think he's earned that trust. He has a lot of great attributes, and I still think Harvey Barnes can go up another level because he does have good attributes. I have been really happy how he's come along. And you know what? For me personally, I think Harvey Barnes earned his starting role. I think he's earned the right to play in this game and start in this game. He stepped up in crucial moments with a lot of pressure and he's performed. He's earned that, and we now know we can trust him offensively, but also do the hard work defensively as well. Look, Harvey Barnes or Anthony Gordon, it's a beautiful problem to have. 2 strong wide players who pose a threat to the opposition. Gordon can make a great impact off the bench. Imagine you're 1-1 or whatever, and Leicester City see Anthony Gordon coming on. That just automatically, psychologically makes them think, we're in trouble here. But remember, he did pick up a knock while he was on England duty. So I don't know if that's got part to play. I don't know how fit he is or how Eddie Howe's going to look at that and manage that situation. In my opinion, I would start Harvey Barnes and bring Anthony Gordon on and just ease Anthony Gordon back into it instead of just rushing him back into it. But I want to hear from you guys. What would you do? Who would you start? For me, I think Harvey Barnes hasn't put a foot wrong in these past 3 games. And in fact, he's actually impressed us more than I expected. So I think he deserves a right to start in this game. Plus, it's against these old club, and we all know what happens when a player goes back to the old stomping ground. 9 times out of 10 they score, so I would love a Harvey Barnes goal. But the reason why I think we don't need to worry about Leicester and need to concentrate on our own game, because this is the comparison this season between Newcastle United and Leicester City. And as you can see, we've been absolutely phenomenal. Much better than Leicester City in every single department. So I feel like we need to go to Leicester with our chest pumped high and really impose ourselves on Leicester, really put our game on them and concentrate on ourselves and not Leicester City, because I think the crucial thing we need to do in this game is start with intensity. If we don't let that crowd get up for this game, if we give them no evidence that they're going to win this game, they're vulnerable. Psychologically, they're broken, and they haven't won in the past 7 games. They've won 1 in 11 games. They're psychologically gone. So if you are physically and start quickly and really get at Leicester from the first minute, you're just going to quieten that crowd and their players will go hiding. And that's where the mistakes come out, because of confidence goes and they lose their concentration and they don't want the ball, they don't show for the ball, they'll not be able to find their patterns of play, they'll worry about Newcastle, what we do, and then we'll be able to just control the game from minute 1. So I think it's not about how we end the game, it's about how we start the game, in my opinion, because if we start brightly, really aggressively, with intent, really get at Leicester City, we can really cause them problems. I kind of want to see how we started Ipswich, where it was just bang, bang, goal, and we went like 4-0 up dead early. I want that type of performance. If I remember right, we're 3-0 up by half-time. We cruised through the second half, and I think the game finished 4-0. I bet you correct us if I'm wrong, but I'm sure I was off the top of my memory. And I kind of want that performance where we're just really at it, really sharp in possession, moving the ball quickly and not allowing Leicester City to really set in their structure, because in the Premier League, when a team's setting their structure and it's against a low block, it's extremely difficult to break down. I kind of feel like, again, we need to concentrate on ourselves because we're the better team. We're going to be touching on the starting 11 very shortly, but there is one man I want to talk about before we go, and that is William Osula, because I kind of feel like he deserves more minutes. Every time he's been given an opportunity, he's impressed and shown flashes of brilliance. I'm not saying he's ready to be relied upon week in, week out, but his style and the way he plays makes him a confidence player. He works on instincts. He wants to get at the opposition. He wants to take the game to the opposition. He plays with power, directness, and that's the type of player where he plays on confidence rather than a systematic player. And I kind of feel like at this stage of the season, the more minutes you give him, the more confident you'll get and the bigger impact he will have. He's got all the elements of a great player. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, he's quick, he's got good acceleration, he's technically very good, and he's quite intelligent with his movement. His ability, his all-round game needs some refinement, but you only get that by playing games. I kind of feel like, just let's say we're 2-0 up at Leicester City with 15 minutes to go. Put him on instead of Jacob Murphy or Alexander Isak, one or the other. We've seen him play both roles. I think his future lies as a striker, but why not just give him minutes elsewhere? Let him develop, let him learn, let him get that experience. And I kind of feel like if we start doing this towards the back end of the season, when the time's right, I'm not saying throw him on when we're 1-0 up and against the Kosh. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when the time's right, give him minutes, because that'll allow us to acknowledge where he's at in his development, if he's ready to be relied on next season, or whether he needs to go out on loan and play regular football. I kind of feel like you only get that by giving him minutes. But I want to know what you guys think. Am I being too sentimental because I want it to work out for him? I want him to be, because when I watched him in that parade, he was jumping with joy, he was full of life, and I kind of feel like I like the boy. So I kind of wanted to work out for him so badly. And that's probably why I'm saying this, but I want to hear from you guys. Do you agree with me? Would you give him minutes? Let me know in the comments below. But I kind of feel like this would be our starting 11. The exact same starting 11 is our past 3 games. Nick Pope in nets, who actually hasn't really put a foot wrong, apart from giving away that penalty against Brentford. But I kind of don't blame him for it, because I think every goalkeeper in that situation would come and try and win the ball. Kieran Trippier, he's kind of rolled back the years in the past 3 games, so he's full of confidence, he's energetic, just keep him going. Fabian Shaw, Dan Burn, 2 centre-backs, and then Tino, who's been, I think he's been our best player over the past 3 games at left-back. You've got Bruno, Tonali, and Joe Linton in the middle, the best midfield in the Premier League, in my opinion, who actually, the balance of that midfield is perfect. They just complement each other so well. We are going to be doing scout reports on midfielders, and probably next week I'm going to start it, so stay tuned for that. But Jacob Murphy on the right, Harvey Barnes on the left, and Alexander Isak up front. As you can see, Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes got an assist last game with Alexander Isak scoring. That's perfect. I want a repeat of that. Even if Sandro Tonali can get on the score sheet, happy days. But if Murphy does his job, he'll get an assist. Harvey Barnes does his job, he'll get an assist. Alexander Isak, we know he can do a job, he'll get his goal. But look, I'm quite confident about this game. I'm actually going to go for Leicester City 0, Newcastle United 3. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear, would you make any changes to the starting 11? Would you just replenish things, or would you look for that continuity that I feel Eddie Howe likes? But I also want to know your score predictions. Let me know in the comments below, guys. But until next time, the next scout report will probably be the next video. Until next time, have a great weekend. Good luck, Newcastle United. How are the lads?